All right, and welcome to Magical Lady Duchess doll and poppet class. I decided to do it recorded so that I wouldn't be distracted because I know it's a lot of information, and I felt like this was the best way for me to do this class. I'm recording it off of two means of recording just so I can have it just in case one doesn't work, and I would not be able to do that if I did it live. And I want you guys to be able to get the most out of this class, and to understand it. Um, it's going to be very detailed, informative, and I want you guys to understand just why this is important. I'm also going to give you a few resources that you can have as well, just so I can make this a fabulous experience for you guys. Um, I am fasting. I only have a few hours, so y'all bear with me. Babe, I've been watering down. I had got me some juice earlier, which did nothing but make me want to have more water. But anyway, all right. I'm probably gonna take me a smoke break, so y'all take y'all smoke break too. But the first thing I want to say is that I must say first thing as we move into the introduction of this class. Um, I have done much research and I've also studied this as far as my mother working with dolls in particular. And so puppets are not technically voodoo and hoodoo related or conjure related, but they all kind of coincide. And so I want you guys to take your time, take a lot of notes, especially if you want to work in witchcraft, especially if you want to use dolls and puppets and such. Um, I want to talk about the history of dolls and stuff too. And the history of dolls, they go back to the Egyptian effigy dolly that was found in Sisera, 3rd and 4th century AD. And the dolly kind of looks like an old clay conjure dolls with nails in it. Here is a picture of, it's a picture of the doll. She getting a business. And the book that I suggest that you guys get is Mama Star's Dolly book. It's $26 in my store, and if you take the class, I'm gonna give it to you for 20% off. I probably got about 5 or 6 Dolly books. So if you are wanting them, you can pre-order them, and I can get them from her. It probably will take a few weeks because she be running slow as fuck. But this book has a lot of information in it. And if you took the class originally, I gave these books because she had quite a few of them. Now she don't, but that's okay. I can still get it for you. So anyway, I'm going to talk a little bit about her book and some information there. Then I'm also going to share some things outside of her book. But I do know the Egyptian effigy doll. That doll was found in Egypt, and it had been placed in a vase. And so it was inscribed a magical tablet with this book, so it goes back. The Venus of Wundendorf was also another. It's about 4.4 inches high, and she's found all over. And I'm talking about like 28,000 to 30,000 BCE before Christ, right? So, um, yeah. There are dolls everywhere, everywhere. Voodoo dolls. What do you think that the most famous voodoo doll that they actually make now, and that you guys use it all the time? And it's these. These are the voodoo dolls now that everyone uses. You can actually melt these down if you have like the mold, like I do. And sometimes I fill them with the person's articles. And articles could be nails, hair clippings, whatever. Um, they are everything. And this is really what people use now to, um, to do things. You can use them in containers. You can use them in coffins. You can nail down a doll in a box and cover it with some lead to hold a person in place. You can also tie down a smaller doll, get a jar if you want to suspend somebody, or if they like anything to make them move slow, you can take a mason jar, you can fill it up with water, and then you can also bind a small dolly. I can go to fucking Walmart and get a doll, put it in that jar, and you can suspend them. You can also take a little small mason jar, like such, and dress it up and make you a dolly. And this is a really good place to hide work where especially if it's in somebody's house, this could be good for protection work, and you can hide it in this. You can also use pill bottles, all kind of good stuff. So, and I have a few of those, um, but you can do it yourself. The whole point or premise of doll magic, it's really whatever it to work something, to work somebody, a particular person, whether it's love or whether it's whatever. There have been dolls that are found they don't have any heads with their feet cut off, and then there were dolls that were found with personal items, like I said, such as hair and clothes and stuff like that. Small coffins and containers. So you can literally make a coffin doll. If some bitch is fucking with you, you can take a coffin and dress it up, give it head and legs and everything else, and then fill it in with the stuff that you want to fill it in so that she can leave you alone. So hopefully this class gives you guys a lot of good ideas that you can use as far as doll magic, as far as capturing them. A lot of you guys know that I bought a real life doll that I did a ceremony with to bring her alive, to make her whole, and she represents things for me. And I keep her in my house now just for protection. These dollies are made for everything, guys. They are made from cleaning to healing to cursing. The doll's work is like really one of the oldest forms of magic. They're very powerful, especially when you're trying to connect with a particular target. I think that the ideal dolly is made out of like the target's soiled clothing, meaning clothes that they've already, why is my hair bothering me, that they've already worn, like underwear and t-shirts. And if you're going to use underwear, make sure you cut the seat out of it. And if you're going to use a shirt, make sure the most powerful part of a shirt that your target has worn is underneath the arms, because they sweat, they perspire. So, other than their blood, the clothing is the best option because it's next to the body, okay? And so it holds blood, it holds fluids like the sweat gland. So that's why if you want to use clothing and you don't have another effect, a personal effect, this will work great for you. Socks, because it's at the bottom of their feet. The connection to the target is always best possible, and if not, do the best you can. There are many reasons for a person to want to make a dolly. Like if the work is trying to heal someone who's far away from them, they could use a dolly to help conjure healing for that particular target. If they're arguing with someone, are they wanting to mend their marriage, they can make dollies together. I do love work with Barbie dolls that represents the person, you know. Also, I do, you know, get out of jail work with dolls, with the male doll. And I actually put a chain around him, and we put a circle around him, and we use a hatchet to break the chain and pull him out. And so dollies represent people. They represent the essence. You know, you can place a dolly that has been worked as a watcher and a protector behind your door of your store, of your home, and it will keep harm out of it and protect it. That's what I have. I have a lot in my house. So you can use that too. You should always remember, though, that dollies aren't toys, and they should always be treated with respect, and it's not a game fucking with them. If you decide to make a dolly of someone, then you are responsible for your own action. You know, let's be honest. You know, dolly work on another human being or another person is more than manipulating another human, and we know that these actions cause a reaction. So you have to really be careful um, when you're doing this type of work because it still must be justified. A doll is one of the favorite type of magical works, but I'm always very cautious when it comes to the target that I'm using. I even have a dolly with me and Damon that is melted together so that we stay together. Nobody can break us up. Um, Dolls can also be placed in different places, in different positions, and it kind of all depends on how the doll is kind of made up too. Because you can bind the doll's arms and legs behind a back and place them in a dark spot to bind them and to block them from something or someone. You can also do this too, so they're not able to move, so they're not able to be successful, especially if a bitch is fucking with you. You can nail them to the floor or a wall for the same premise. See, I never even discussed that in the first video, so y'all really benefiting from this second one. So you can also make the doll a target and twist the doll in unnatural twist, and this can cause the target to have severe back pain, stomach pain, foot pain, heart pain, because you can stick something through the chest. Placing the target in a jar with souring things will sour their luck. So this is another way that you can use doll and jars and magic to create a rift. Sometimes they're thrown in running water. Remember when I was talking about the jar with the water in there? If you want to use it to suspend them into something, or you can bury them in the graveyard or place them in trees and other places. It just depends on you because you're the one that's working the doll. Okay. There's also kind of like a misconception about the dolls. Folks have mixed match work so much, and so you have to be careful with that too. Take your time. Take your time. This is a traditional type of working. This is not like a new wave type of anything. I don't give a damn what they try to make it be as. It's not. This is an old school type of working. My mother had a room, a small closet, and it was full of dolls. Full of dolls. For people, probably I was in there, my daddy. Conjure dolls and voodoo dolls are similar, but a poppet, like I said, is completely different type of dolls. Dolls of all types are very powerful. They represent the person, they represent the work that's being done, but it has to be handled with care, guys. Um, I'm trying to think. Um, is working a doll baby evil? Working with doll babies is not evil. So it's all in the intent. So whatever the worker does, the dolly determines the outcome of the work. Remember, hear what I just said. Whatever the worker does to the dolly determines the outcome of the work. Each worker, each conjure person is completely responsible for their own actions. So you have to make sure that they are justified. We can't be doing this kind of work just because a person pissed us off. Is there a backlash or a law of threefold? I don't believe in that, and I believe that if it's justified, you have every right to do whatever you need to do to get your justification. I believe that Dolly Magic is incredible, and I'm just gonna share with you guys. Like, this is one of my dolls. She is a watcher. She's a watcher doll. See how beautiful she is? And I have stuff encased around her eyes. She's a watcher doll in my store. If you come into one of my rooms where nobody's in, I have two of them in there, and they watch what's going on, and they talk to me, and they tell me. And she's also made of porcelain, and if you look, her hand is strategically placed in different ways. I'm not gonna tell all of her secrets because she ain't gonna like that. but she is a really good watcher doll for me. And I have her. I also have other dolls, and I enchant them. And I'm going to tell you how to enchant your doll too. Some of you guys have these kind of dolls. These are Big Mama dolls, and Mama Star also made these. She makes them for me. They have railroad spikes in them, so they're supposed to, you put them somewhere, and they're supposed to make the place or make the thing stay. I normally keep her in a pot. I have one as well at home, and she travels with me. She is my doll of protection. Um, What's another question? So, if you're doing work without permission, can it be considered like manipulative work? And it just kind of depends on how you look at it. If there's a lot of fussing and cussing in your home and you're trying to create a safe space, then do that. You can use a doll to represent that man. You can use a doll to represent that woman. You can use a doll to represent your children. It doesn't necessarily have to be this negative, bad thing. Okay? It doesn't. You control the work. You control the work. I don't believe in heaven and hell. I don't believe in any of that. So if you're deciding to make a conjure doll, which is something that I had never discussed before, if you're deciding to make a conjure doll, decide which one that you want to make. There are several different types. You can use rags and stuff. You can use men underwear. You can make a doll out of his underwear. You can make a doll out of his shirt. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's just your work. When flowers still came in a sackcloth, they made dollies out of the flour sack. So just remember, you can use what you can. You can make a doll out of red flannel and stuff the body with cotton, your petition, your prayers, your roots, your herbs, or any personal concern that you want to use that belong to the target. Cotton was used for two reasons in a doll. What are those two reasons that they would use cotton? And if you don't know what cotton looks like, hold on. Let me call Angela and tell her to bring some cotton in here.
Please leave your message.
Well, damn.
Hello?
Can you go in the room, the hoodoo room, and bring me some cotton? One of those just long stems of cotton.
Okay.
So anyway, making a doll, most people use red flannel, um, stuff for the body, but you can use t-shirt, underwear, curtains in a house. You can take the sheets off the fucking bed if you want to make a doll with some sex. And y'all just got through fucking. You can make a doll like that. Um, like I said, the herbs, the personal concerns, anything that belongs to the target. Like I said, cotton was used for two reasons. One, because it absorbs and holds, and the other reason, because, thank you, that's all they had access to in slavery was the cotton. That's why cotton was so important, because it absorbs and it holds. And then this is what they had a lot of access to. So back in the day, when they would make dolls and puppets and stuff like that, they would make it out of real cotton. They really believed that it would come alive. They really believe that it will come alive. I mean, don't you? Um, Another good thing that you can stuff your doll with is moss. Moss that comes from the creek bed could be used as a form for crossroads or graveyard moss. Now be careful getting it because it's illegal to actually take any type of moss out of a graveyard. So be very careful with that. And don't be saying that Duchess told me that I can go to the graveyard and get some, and I don't need permission. Yes, the fuck you do, and don't be saying my name. All right, so pineapple moss is grown all over the South too, and that's another great moss for you to use into making these dolls. The dolly, it represents the target, and it's done that's being done on. Once the dolly is made up, it's set up. You can set it up on the altar within the candle setup and pray over it. And we're talking about bringing that dolly alive, whether you purchase it or you make your own. This is another one, or you make your own. This is I'm teaching you how to work it. This is another doll too, made with sage. This is just a sage stick, a little bit of moss, and this is a doll that's made. Okay. So the dolly is worked, like I said, for several reasons. And it could be worked for healing, for uncrossing, for money, for protection, for domination, to being somebody bitch ass over, protection work. The list really goes on and on. And like I said, it is one of the oldest forms of magic or conjure that there is. When you make your own doll, you can pray over every stitch when you're stitching the doll up, you know. I don't just work with red flannel dollies, but I like to work with them all. So before the prayer, you have to give the doll life, and it is prayed over the dolly that you're giving life, and you're gonna say the name. Like I'll use this for an example, right? I'll use this for an example, so y'all can see it. You pray over it, you find the prayer, and you work with it, right? You also have to name it. So naming the doll, once you have the doll put together, then it's time to name the baby. You could do this two ways. One of them is from holy water. Let me. Jackie, can you bring me some of that holy water that we got today? Holy water that we got today. My hair is really bothering me. Shit. So hey y'all. And right now I'm just breathing into this doll. I'm just breathing, giving this doll the energy. Just breathing. Thank you very much. I appreciate you.
Yes,
So it's two ways that you can name your doll. The first way is that, and this is the method that I prefer, and you would literally use holy water, and you will hold the baby in your left hand. This is my right, this is my left. I will hold in my left hand, and I will sprinkle water on the baby while naming the dolly. And I would literally say, I call on God the Father, God the Son, the Holy Spirit, the Divine, whatever you want to say is fine. I ask if you God the Most High. This doll represents prosperity. It represents love. It represents luck, right? From this time and in this moment, this doll will be alive. Everything will be done to this doll, will be done to myself or done to whoever it represents, until at which time I decide to release them. This is just me consecrating the doll. I command you, all doll made with these hands, that you come to life in the name of God the Most High. Ashe, amen. Once you've named the doll, you can start doing work on this doll, but please use common sense. So that's what you can do to actually name the doll. The second thing that you can also do is you can use salt water. I don't want to use salt water unless I'm necessarily doing something like baneful magic to hex or something like that, I would use like table salt water, and then you just bless the water, right? But I don't like using salt when it comes to dolls unless I'm kind of doing something a little bit more stronger per se, or a little bit more darker workings. Then I'll probably use the salt then. But if not, just some simple holy water, I'll sell that too. Or you can go to a Catholic church and get some too. Um, Also, let's talk about making a voodoo doll. Remember, we said that poppets are different from voodoo dolls. And so, the first thing that you need to understand is that New Orleans voodoo is its own entity that's different from Haitian, that's of its own. So, you have to remember that some dolls are considered saints. They're also considered loas, which means spirit, and it's the spirit of a dead. And you can use your dolls for that too. But it has its own religion, its own right to that. So I'm going to talk about that a little bit too. All right. So voodoo dolls are made in very different reasons. Remember, I said that the candle is actually a voodoo doll. It's a wax voodoo doll, and you can put hair in it. There remains, but that is a voodoo doll. Not all voodoo dolls are bad. Not all. Come in.
I'm sorry. On the crown it says, what you want me to do with incense? I'm gonna go ahead and pull it up.
Go ahead and
Just go
put it
around
in
the
a
jar.
yeah inside and on the outside too.
Or the big jar that we make it in?
hmm
Okay.
Um, Many are made to help the practitioner in their life to draw in love and health because I use a voodoo doll. I have her at home. Not two practitioners will ever work the same. Voodoo dolls, the type the same. But sticky dolls, which were made of sticks, which is kind of like this one, which is kind of like this one. They have something to represent the target, and the doll's made for something else. The Spanish moss. Look up the Spanish moss. But not all conjure dollies are made with it. A lot of them are made up with the pineapple, which comes from the same family of the Spanish, but it grows wild in South Carolina. So this is the moss that conjure stick dollies and other moss dollies are made out of. So the voodoo doll brings about a change and it helps the practitioner feel close to the spirit. This is why we like to use it. This is why my mom did. She had a whole closet full of little dolls. um, All throughout history. I really hate the way that the media and that TV in Hollywood represents dollies because that's not what they are. You know, you give it life, you take the authority over the doll. The doll is filled with its power when the practitioner is making a doll. So whatever the practitioner prays into the doll, and that's the spirit that dwells within the doll. Like this could be tricky because if you're mad at somebody and you're trying to make a voodoo doll, you're gonna put that kind of energy or spirit into the doll. So be very careful about that. The voodoo doll is a ongoing work too, and it gets stronger as you work with it and you build in your bond with it between you and the doll. It just grows stronger, and then the better off the work is with the doll that you are making. Remember this too, you have to make sure that the doll is being handled with care and it's being respected. Um, you can't just treat the doll any kind of way and throw the bitch around like it ain't nothing. You can't do that. These dolls are not toys and they hold the spirit in them. So forget what you've seen. Like the voodoo doll is a living spirit. What did I say that the voodoo doll is? I want you guys, if you see this video, post it in Infinite Energy. The voodoo doll is a living spirit because that's what it is. It's a living spirit that dwells from you to the doll. So you need to be very cognizant about that when you're working with the doll. You can literally take two dolls made with two sticks and some moss and then cover them with some type of bright material because that's what they do. Another one, another small dolly that's native is the juju doll. So the juju doll, like these little dolls are sold all over the French Quarter. They all in the French market, and they have like little dolls made of wire and yarn, and sometimes they're made in the shape of an animal that are carried or hung in a home to bring peace, protection, and blessings. I've heard that the honor of taking Bloody Mary's class on a voodoo doll. Um, I don't know. I wouldn't recommend it because I don't like Bloody Mary and she don't like me. But she's in New Orleans. I guess y'all got you guys. I mentioned her so you can take her class. She does a class on voodoo dolls if you ever go to New Orleans. Um, Simon East also talks about voodoo dolls. He calls them messenger dolls because he uses them for a message. For what I understand, these dolls carry a message to the spirits, to your spirits. So your doll can also be used as a intercessor. That was not in the first video that I talked about. So again, you are hearing some new shit. From what I understand, like these dolls, they carry messages to the spirit. I'm gonna see if I can get him on the phone just to um, talk about a messenger doll. I'm gonna ask him when he talk about like a messenger doll, like the doll that's put together and they're left in places of power depending on your needs. So it could be nailed to a tree in the graveyard if you want to do something. It could be left at a crossroad. You might leave one in the hospital if somebody's in need of healing, or one at a church. It really depends on what the doll's being made for and the spirit that you are trying to teach. You ain't gonna find it. You ain't gonna find nobody talking about the doll being a messenger doll, but you hearing it here first, right? So this is very fascinating and stuff like that. Um, they also have like wedding dolls that you can get. Um, oh, look, can I call you now?
Hello.
Hey,
Hey.
what you doing?
Huh?
I said, what you doing?
Put my leg up on the pole.
Oh, okay. I was gonna ask. I wanted to, if you can, just explain a messenger doll.
Well, if it's anything like what my understanding is, I mean, like what we would call spirit dolls, one of the things is that like a lot of the times they're used as how you say like a mirror of what may be going on. Spirit dolls, can be moved in the place of protection, in the place of giving messages, and even in a place of meditation, so that how you say like things open up um, for the growth of the individual. Um, as with anything, those dolls have to be fed. Because feeding, just like we as people, we need food to sustain ourselves. Those spirits in those dolls need, they need to be fed as well. Because even the dead have to eat. Those dolls, they can house a spirit of the dead. They can house an elevated spirit. But it's important that when those are done, in my opinion, that if somebody's going to fix one for you, that you find the right person to fix one for you. I mean, I would never suggest that anybody go and try to put a spirit into a doll who don't know what the hell they're doing.
Right.
Um, but they have the ability to. They kind of like how you say. Well, some of them anyway. They kind of like they be telling the business to everybody else,
Yeah, cause
especially like when it applies to you.
yeah, I have, I keep two in my store and I keep some in my house.
Hmm.
And I used
I
to,
know. I've seen them.
huh?
I've seen them.
So my house, I have dolls everywhere, especially in my main room, and I do this so they can watch. And I used to have dolls, and sometimes I would use teddy bears and stuff when my daughter was like a teenager and shit. And I did that to
Hmm.
watch her, and also for to tell me if she was doing some shit she wouldn't have no business. And I tell
Yep.
everybody all the time that those dolls that I keep in my house, they would tell on my kids.
Hmm.
They'll
Oh,
wake me.
absolutely. Of course they will. They would tell. I told. They were telling people business.
Yeah, they do.
And
So, so I thought about you
mhm.
and the messenger doll, and I just thought that I would just say if you would give me a few minutes of your time and just explain
Mhm.
it. So I appreciate you doing it.
Now, one of the things that I would suggest to somebody, especially like when it's a doll like that, is to take and put mirrors over the eyes, replace the eyes basically with mirrors, because the mirror can catch what's what's going on.
So should the mirror be facing the doll or should it be facing outwardly?
No, the mirror should be facing out. So basically, their two eyes are replaced with mirrors.
Mm.
That's what I would suggest, because those mirrors can catch those images. And when you sit with that doll and you start focusing and speaking to that doll, you can look into the eyes or the mirrors of that doll and see.
Damn, I might do that. I
Hmm.
never thought
I'm just
about that.
saying.
That is amazing. You always teach something. I love you, Papa, for that.
Oh, I love you.
Well, are you done doing work for tonight?
Huh?
I saw, are you done doing work for tonight?
Yes.
Okay. Well, as soon as I get done with
Well, I
my
mean, I'm done like with like readings and stuff like that. Yeah.
okay, well, as soon as I get finished, I'll call you back.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
All right.
Bye bye. See, that was something extra for you guys because I really want you guys to learn how to work dolls. And I realized that when I did the first class, that I really didn't. I was so caught up into talking so much about my mother and how she worked the dolls that I didn't really give you as much as I could have. So I want to make sure that I give you guys a lot because I really want you guys to feel like you got everything you needed. So, before that, I was also talking about wedding dolls, and this is another set of dolls too, like the he and she, the female and the male, that represents you. You can kind of do stuff for like blessings for that doll and stuff like that. And they used to do them at wedding celebrations, especially back in the more southern times, the more in the past, the history, because it represented that couple and it was a way to bless that couple as well. So, voodoo doll rituals. So, there's several steps to making a voodoo doll. The first thing you have to do is gather everything that you need to make your doll. These items need to be cleared of any negative energy that may have been picked up in stores or different folks handling them. So please remember that. You should be doing that anyway. Whenever you get something, if you notice, my sister was pouring up some Crown of Success, and the first thing she was asking about the incense. We need to make sure that we're cleansing all of the things that we're using. You should anoint yourself with some type of oil, holy oil, olive oil, and say a short prayer of the spirit that you're going to be working with. You'll be able to be very relaxed with that spirit around you. And then you create the voodoo doll. And during the creation, it's important that you stay focused on your intent. The reason that in your intent is simply the reason why you are doing this particular magic, the reason why you are using this particular doll, and empowering that doll. It's very important that you keep your emotions pure as possible, and remember that you need to push those feelings into that doll. You need to push that work into the doll. It's just not about creating or making it and then you saying, okay. No, you have to give that doll the spirit. It has to become alive. And that's the same thing that Papa was saying. You know, you have to feed it as well. Put it in a pot. I ain't saying cut up stuff like that, but put it in a pot. Give it stuff. Feed it incense. Give it holy water. Give it kalanga water. Give it sandalwood water, just depending on basil water, war water. Feed it. Feed that doll. Once you have set up the doll, you know, consecrate the doll, set up your altar, say your prayers, light your white candle. White not only represents purity, but it is very powerful. Call on the Lord. Make sure you got a fireproof dish. Get you some type of smoke to consecrate the doll, and working the doll past it. And what I mean by working the doll past the smoke is just this is the smoke flowing here, and you're passing the doll through it. You're passing the doll through that work. After the consecration of doll, should be the doll. You put the doll on the altar, and it's not to be handled because now it's a spiritual tool, and that's what you guys need to remember too. That these dolls are spiritual tools. The doll is not a game. It's not a game, and you can baptize the doll. You know, I baptize thee. Here's my doll. I baptize thee in the name of the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit. You can also say, I baptize thee in the divine, the spirit of the divine, the spirit of the universe. I baptize thee in the spirit of, if you're using a deity or a Loa or a God, I baptize thee. I command and control from this moment on, all the things done to this doll is now going to be done to this particular target. I command as the circle is never do so. I am now alone in control the deepest desires, dreams, and actions of the target's name. Rewind this, listen to it again. Your life now, hold to mind. I now have power over your soul, and I am capturing it. I'm capturing it. I'm capturing it in this. I'm putting this, the effects, the remains, or whatever. And I'm so motherfucking bold. I want to use this bitch in a place where I'm doing the work. And I want this bitch to set up. Like I said, it ain't got to be a big old jaw. It ain't got to be a big old nothing. You can go get you a doll. Cut the top off of it. Be creative. Make you something in a pill bottle and sit it right on your motherfucking dresser where you want to control that man where you at. Every time you fuck, put a little bit of cum in this motherfucking jaw. Sit it right back on your motherfucking dresser. Have it facing him. That's that real conjure work. And I love it. My whole energy changes when I talk about it. So literally what you would say is, I baptize thee. I baptize thee, the target's name or the spirit's name. In the name of God, the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit. Again, you don't have to say that. I like using the Trinity in this particular instance. This is hoodoo. Hoodoo uses the Trinity, okay? I command thee and control from this moment on. All that is done to this doll happens down to the target's name. As I so command, as the circle is, never so do. I alone now control the deepest desires, the dreams, the actions of the target's name. Your life is now mine to hold. I now have power over your soul. Say it with deflection. Say it with determination. Say it with for surety. All right. The target's name, and you are now mine to have and to control whatever is done. So to the doll will also be done to the target name. I run the show. Some of y'all can't control shit because you still in your mind don't think that you control anything. I also want to say too, when a voodoo doll is made to represent a spirit or a person, the image of the doll should favor the target as well. The imagery magic is a very powerful magic. So it is nothing wrong with taking the face of the person and creating a doll and cut it out and put it on there. Be creative. We trying to really do some stuff. We ain't trying to do this half-ass. We trying to do this all the way ass. You understand what I'm saying? So don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. So when use that imagery, create your man. Make you a doll out of that man. Get you some magazines and how you want him to look and how you want him to be and how you want him to smell and how you want him to, all of that. The following old saying goes, like begets like. So I've heard this saying my whole life, okay? So I want you to remember that this doll is used as a tool to focus your intent on something. You can make you a crossroads wonga, okay? With St. Anthony. St. Anthony is like St. Peter. He's a road opener. He's also a finder. So if you're looking for something that's lost, your spouse, your money, whatever, use St. Anthony. He can draw in what you need, okay? You can make you want to use St. Anthony, he can nail down your marriage. You just need a photo of you and your spouse in a happier time when y'all was on vacation. Write the petition on the photo, fold the photo towards you until you can't fold it anymore, and stuff it inside a bottle. Or use sock from your spouse with the photo, a little bit of calamus root, master of the woods, some spikenard, some lavender, some sugar, some domenia, a strong marriage magnet, a frankincense, and tie the sock into a knot while stating your petition. You can place the sock packet in the center of a square of a red cloth and use the St. Anthony statue on top of the sock of the packet. Gather 4 stones, gather 4 corners of the red flannel and secure it in around the St. Anthony covering of the packet. Use a red thread, rope, twine, whatever you have. If you want to decorate your work, feel free to do so. Feed your packet at least once a week. The work will protect your marriage and keep your spouse from running around. You can feed it with holy water. You can feed it with any type of cologne, protection cologne, love cologne. I sell all the different colognes. Sandalwood, love, romance, John the Conqueror. Feed. That's what he means by feed that dog. Feed it. Feed it. St. Peter doll, the same way. Take you a picture of St. Peter and create you a little old doll. If you can get you some sticks and put that picture on there. Like, you guys need to think outside the box because this type of magic is outside the box. Okay? A St. Peter doll for binding your enemies. St. Peter is a road opener in voodoo and conjure. Okay? He's a very powerful worker who holds the keys to God's kingdom. You can also, Peter name means rock because God made Peter the foundation for all of his teachings. Did you just catch that? Okay. A powerful saint and St. Peter can also be very dangerous when it comes to doing work against your enemies. So don't be surprised if some shit happen because you know Peter like to kill his enemies. But you know what they say? A witch who can heal, they can also kill. And if you want to make this work, you can simply get you a doll baby of St. Peter. Or you can get you 2 licorice sticks. And licorice stick is good for work because it's a dominating herb and it also used to nail your enemies down and to control or gain the upper hand in any situation. You can also substitute 2 whole calamus roots or any special root or curio that will give you the upper hand. And you just make a cross out of the licorice sticks and bind them together with some red thread while petitioning St. Peter. Tie 9 knots with the name of St. Peter while stating your petition to him with each knot. Wrap the doll baby around some Spanish moss or some cotton. It could be a cotton t-shirt, okay? Think outside the box. Now you need to dress the doll. Remember, use colors that are bold and represent power. Think about the color of the dolls too. Think about the red, the orange, the gold. These colors bring on power in their own working, so just imagine what they're going to do for you. When it comes to the doll head for St. Peter, you can use clay or carved or an apple head that has been dried. You can put it in an oven for several hours. Whatever you have, if you're in a hurry, glue a prayer card of St. Peter on that where the head should be. Now the doll is made, but it still needs tools. So prepare a gree bag and attach it to the St. Peter doll. See, all of this takes work, but you can do it. If you really want to do doll magic, if you really want to use these dolls, you can do it. So you can prepare a small gree bag, attach it to your St. Peter doll to give it power. Since Peter is the road opener, he will need a key or a set of keys. Also attach it. Have it looking like this. Attach an iron nail to the hand of the doll. If you can give your doll a walking stick, that'll be good. St. Peter can use that to remove the obstacles out of your way. Okay? You can also you can also load the doll with your petition. Stick it in there. 3 coins, a strong magnet to pull in your request. These are how you use the dolls. These are how you use them magically when you are wanting to do something. If you're wanting to use a doll to call on St. Peter, right, or St. Expedite, call on St. Expedite, you can sew the head shut while saying the petition. You can get you a face of St. Peter or St. Expedite and kind of fold it in where the head should be, and you can sew it shut. Give 3 blows of some tobacco smoke on the doll to wake it up. Place the doll in a cross candle setup, and it's like this. So you place the doll in between. You can place the doll under your bed where you sleep. Before you go to bed, talk to the doll and tell it what you want it to do for you, okay? For the next 4 days, tie a knot in a hanky, and on each day, tell the doll your petition. Put the hanky with the doll. At the end, the doll should have 5 knots. Tell the doll to take the doll to your cemetery, right? Pay your way in. Leave the doll there for the spirits of the dead when you're complete and finished. Okay? The doll is a messenger for Saint Expedite and the dead. This work can be done in all kind of situations. All kind of situations. All kind. All kind. Let me see what else. I can't. If you have a doll like a doll like this, or you have a doll like this, or you have a wax doll like this, before you can literally tell this doll what you want to draw in, what you want to do, and you can do some prayers on the doll. I am literally recording a video. I love you too. Lord, they keep coming in, throwing me out. So you can do a protection. You can read Second Thessalonians 3 and verse 3, and it says, "But the Lord is faithful; He will establish you and guard you against any evil against you." So this is something that you can breathe into this. You can use black or white, but remember, white is universal, so you can use it for pretty much anything. 2 Samuel 22 verses 3 and 4. You can also do Isaiah 41 and verse 10. Fear not, for I am with you. So these are good for protection. With everything going on with the new year, y'all need to be really on your protection shit anyway. Isaiah 54 verse 17. Daniel 12 verse 1. If you want to work into some healing, anoint this with some holy water. Put the person's name on it, their date of birth, and you can read James 5 verses 4 through 16, Proverbs 16 verse 24, Deuteronomy 7 verse 15, Jeremiah 33 verses 6, Jeremiah 17 verses 14, Psalms 103 verses 2 through 4. Bless the Lord, O my soul, and forget not all his benefits, who forgives all your iniquities, who heals all your diseases, who redeems your life from the pit, who crowns you with steadfast love and mercy. You want to do some prayers against your enemies? I got you. You got Psalms 27 5 through 6. You got 2 Kings 17 through 39. You have Isaiah 41 11 through 12. You have Proverbs 3 25 through 36. Luke 1 and 71. Acts 18 and 10. Hebrews 13 and 6. If you are wanting to work for success, Genesis 39 verses 2 through 6. Baby, I anoint every fucking doll I do with verses Genesis 39 verses 2 through 6. The Lord who was with Joseph, look, and he was a successful man. He gonna be with me. So also Joshua 1 verse 8. You can also do Proverbs 3 verses 1 through 4. Nehemiah verse 1. Book 1, chapter 1 verse 11. Proverbs 2 and 7. I hope y'all writing this down. This is a lot of information. Y'all gonna have to go back and rewind this, but I'm giving it to you. I'm giving you some good stuff. If you're wanting peace, Matthew 11 verses 28 through 30. One of my favorites is number 6, verses 25 through 26, and it says, "The Lord maketh his face to shine upon you and be gracious to you. The Lord lift up the countenance upon you and give you peace." Hallelujah. Also, if you're needing more power, this is a very powerful scripture. Ephesians 6 verses 10. Finally, it says finally. It didn't say tomorrow. It says finally. Finally. Finally be strong in the Lord and in the strength of his might. Finally. May you be strengthened with our power. That is Colossians 1 verses 11. There are some powerful, powerful verses. Getting paid. You need somebody to pay you? Deuteronomy 24 verses 14 through 15. With your dolls. Put their ass in a doll. You can also, I've talked about love and domination apple heads. I actually did a video about apples, period. You can use an apple head doll. An apple head doll. This is a doll head made of an apple head. Powerful work. Yes, darling. I'm doing a video. Hold on one second. All right. So you can make a paper mache doll head and build the head around the target. You will find some. You can find this. You can use clay. You can use an apple. You can use wax. Whatever. Right. Be creative in your doll workings. Make a bundle like the one, like get you some tea light candles and a little plate and do it like a cross with the plate on the inside. And you wanna do a working. Oh, excuse me. Oh, you want to do a working with this particular doll head. Say, for instance, you're wanting to get rid of somebody. You wanting to end a relationship. Leave it in that space and just in that cross, in that plate with the doll head in there. Put in that apple head what you want to happen. If you're wanting to sever a relationship, make him separate, make him leave. Do that for 3 days. Let it sit for 3 days. Let it sit. Put your petition in there for 3 days. Let it sit, and let the target, let the apple head, let it rot. When it rot, take it to a crossroad and throw it out. Throw it out. But those are some workings that you can use. You can also use doll brooms. Brooms can be a doll too. There's work in that. Also, if you can find a crawdad, the crawdad, like the mud of a crawdad makes a whole. They make great dollies. So you can gather the clay from the mound and add whatever personal effects to it, the photo, and you can burn it into. You can burn Song of Solomon into it. And this type of doll, you can add a genital area. You can make it a male or female. You know what I'm saying? You wait until it's dry. You know, you add your herbs that you're wanting to use, whatever that may be. And you can use a doll with crawdad mud. There's so many different things that you could do to create different things using the doll. One thing I want you guys to remember too, that when you make a puppet or a spirit doll, you're surfacing network of energy of creation, and every doll becomes a memory of a moment in that time that blends with your materials, your emotions, your intent, your desired result. Every doll then is completely unique and it is individual, and you can use that bitch to do whatever you want it to do. The purpose of your puppet or the purpose of your doll, it is to make sure that it's the conception of attracting. So just, I have to stress that, and I don't know why I'm stressing it, but I need you to understand what it is. I need for you to understand what you're doing. I need for you to understand it is not a fucking game. It's not a game. It's not anything to be played with. Because when you get through with the dog, tell the dog thank you. Still feed it every once in a while. Instead of, because you never know when you're gonna be using it again, or when you might, you might need it. So I want you guys to be very cognizant of that as well. All right. I had to take a break real quick. One thing I also want to talk to you guys about magic and dolls is also about magic and color, and what doll represents what, and the color, and how it is applicable to doll magic. For instance, if you're using white or cream, that represents purity and spirituality and cleaning and divinity. Again, it is a neutral color, which means you can use it for pretty much anything. But I just want you to keep, um, if you keep in mind that I prefer like the muslin fabric for most of the stuffed dolls if you're going to use cream or white, okay? If you're wanting action, love, lust, domination, speed, strength, courage, athletic, speedy recovery, motivation, war, attack, sports, leadership, a red doll, red flannel, it represents power. Also, it mitigates with embellishments of other colors too. Dragon blood resin, mixed with some herb that yohimbe, Yohimbe herb, some ground red peppers kind of ramp up the power for any red doll. So for love, try using a combination of white, red, and pink. And add orange if there are problems in a current love relationship, or silver if there's a communication issue. Um, Also, yellow. Yellow is success and winning, attraction, generosity, money, prosperity, determination, stamina. If you wanted him to kind of build up some stamina sexual wise, or even yourself, yellow is a good color. It's associated with the sun and Sunday and a fire element. So, a mixture of marigold, sunflower petals, and golden sand lends power to a yellow poppet. For real estate endeavors, try using yellow, brown, and green in your design, and stuff the poppet with the dirt from the property you are trying to buy and sell. This is really good for those who are looking for that. Also, orange. Orange is a good color. Magically, when it comes to dolls and stuff, when it comes to opportunity and the ability to like adapt, to kind of like open a way to success, enhance a romance, creativity, personal power, reign in a situation that's kind of gotten out of control, business luck, some dried orange peels, some mistletoe, push commanding energy into your poppet with it. So it's also associated with Jupiter and Thursday and any type of fire element as well. Okay. Green, for prosperity and money growth, of course. It's a great attractor for that. Uh, if you are not a if you are not a I'm not creative like that. Make you a hand poppet. Um, Make you cut out like your hand, right? Take that red flannel, green flannel, whatever color, because we discuss the colors, and take it out, stuff it with some flour, or flour, stuff it with some cotton, put the effects in and mix it with some, and then stitch it up with gold thread if you can. It's really good for, and put some rue in it, a magnet, some pumpkin seeds, some snake root, some golden sand. Um, Sew it up together, put your picture in there and what you're trying to do, put it in a jar, fill it up with prosperity water or something like that. Blue is good for protection, healing for women and children. Use blue and white for harmony within your home. Make a dolly of blue and orange, stitch it with silver thread, add some hazel leaves, some dry basil to the puppet. This will really help. So I was trying to give you guys some colors and stuff so that you kind of understand. You can also use purple. Purple's good for spirituality, for a higher mind. It's good for the chakras, your psychic pursuits, your dreams, spiritual communication, your career. You can literally use a combination of purple and orange for winning a legal battle, for winning a legal case. Relief for injustice or false accusations. Purple is also associated with the protection of the innocent, so it's good for your kids as well. So you can use that for that. Pink is good for friendship or partnership, for business, harmony, healing. Any type of in the medical community, pink is associated with good health. Therefore, making a dolly for healing that's pink and has pink embellishments pulls the group mind ideally for healthy into the image. You can add some basil herbs if there's an obstacle in your love life that you're wanting to remove. Add that as well. Um, Black is good for miracles and for fertility and hidden wealth and hidden information and for secrets and for I'm sorry, brown. It's good for that. It's good for bringing an object into manifestation from the mind to the physical, the brown. So it's also good for gardening, magic poppets, blessing the garden and planting spirits. Brown can also help you to materialize any desire. So adding brown to just any design is like a magical boost when we're talking about doll magic. And so you can use patchouli ramps up the vibrations of the brown as well. It's also associated with Saturn and Saturday, so that's like rewards and limits. And it's an elemental as well. What else did I not say? Black, black. Black is return, the void where all things manifest. So protection, reversing, transformation, chaos, karma to bear, transformation. This is with black. So if you're wanting that, you can use black string with your black puppet to fill it. Um, gray, gray, gray. So gray is good for secrets and illusions and glamour and neutrality, fog. So you can use clove and gray to compel an enemy to only see what you want them to see. Skullcap herb is thought to control the thoughts of others, particularly men, young ladies. So snake root is good for quietly banishing unwanted people. Good for the new year. Um, that helps with the gray. So I just wanted to kind of give you guys something simple where you don't feel like it has to be so dramatic and it be so much. This is also something that they used to use for magic to control. If you notice, a lot of the masquerade balls and stuff like that, they would use these type of masks to hide themselves and to beguile and to do witchery on particular men and stuff like that. So yeah. Um I guess this will be the time when I would ask questions and stuff like that. But we didn't do it like that. I really feel like doll magic is so, or puppet magic is so fucking wonderful. And I want you guys to use pill bottles, use baby jars, use and decorate them with the dolls. Create you a beautiful magic like this. You can do it. I know you can. I need to do another video where I'm just doing something like that. I don't know why I didn't think to do that until now. But yeah. I'm trying to think what else that I haven't like kind of talked about and stuff like that. Because if you guys have any questions about basic, doll magic and stuff like that, let me know. Um, you can literally go on Etsy and they have like different, look up um, like poppet, I guess you would call them, like poppet, I don't know, stencils or examples or stitchings. And oh, you know what I didn't talk about? Pins, sticks, and nails in these poppets and what it actually means. Great. All right. So folks have been poking sticks and nails and pins, drilling holes in poppets since Egypt, Greece, and Rome, right? And so the pointed vehicle, such as the pin or the nail, um, is it denotes the direction of concentrated energy on certain things. So it was used to nail down something or nail that energy into the doll. So surprisingly enough, most puppets weren't designed to kill people, but they were really designed to deflect or defeat. Okay, so in many cases they were used in future tense, urging the doll to make something happen or not, and using the doll for revenge for past injustices was not common. Rather than the force of the doll was directed towards the future. So whether it was stopping a person from doing harm or a chair erase or getting away with a crime. So I'm going to say this. So judicial puppets that were used for court proceedings, not against the criminal, but against the counsel. You know what I'm saying? So that's a lot of reason why they would use the pins, the nails, in the puppet. So it puts a particular energy into something. You know what I'm saying? Like if you have a puppet and you doing some work, you can't see me, you can't hear me, you can't hurt me anymore. So I might take some pins and put it in the eyes, the nose, the lips, the ears. Yeah, I said that. And you just chant it like 9 times and hold your breath as you're sticking the pins in that particular doll or in that particular puppet. Um, you can do it in a positive way too. Let me be very clear. It's just not something negative. You can also do it in a positive way too. It doesn't. It could be not too. Some practitioners, they do it at the chakra points. So like if you're wanting direct healing, they would do it the chakra point, the throat chakra, the third eye, the sacral, the root chakra. They also use it as that. So don't just think that it's just something bad, because it's not. You can actually, what these do too, what I wanted to talk about in particular as well, is charm pins. These are like, I don't know if I can, charm pins. And so charm pins, they add to the puppets in the spirit doll, and they increase the connection to your intent. I'm just talking for all this time on Thursday. Woo. Um, the charm pins, you add them to the puppet or your spirit dolls, and they increase the connection to your intent. So you learn very like safety pins are a magical vehicle. Then you can put different things on a safety pin and then put it on the doll. That's how they used to do it in the old school. Now you can glue the shit. Now you can glue the shit. So like I said, I want to go over some things again that we talked about, kind of like in the beginning. Kind of like in the beginning. Um, you want to do the birthing and naming the ritual. Here's a more concentrated one you can do. From this ritual, you can gather dirt from a peaceful place, not a cemetery, and enough to fill a small container. And the dirt can be completely dry. You can fill in sun or a cookie sheet in the oven so it can dry. You can add 3 tablespoons from the dirt from the entrance of a cemetery for protective magic only, or 3 tablespoons of dirt from an ancestor's grave that where prayers were given and an offering was left. Let's be sure we're doing it. 3 tablespoons of dirt from a hollow place, 1 blessed and empowered basil, and then 9 drops of holy water. This is just a small little recipe that I'm giving you that you can do, especially if you're dealing with jar magic or peel magic or anything like that. Anything like that. Okay. If your intuition tells you to omit the dirt from the cemetery, that's fine. Always follow your gut. Okay. So ritually cleanse the dirt, and then as you do your supplies, and then pass over your hand over the dirt, kind of clockwise, saying 9 times, kind of like this, because we blessing the dirt bathing. We're blessing that. We're blessing it in the name of whatever your divinity, whatever you choose. I conjure and command thee, O earth, be the womb of creation. I bless thee in the name of the seven angels and the seven stars. I bless thee in the name of the seven planets. And I bless thee in the name of the seven winds. Okay? This is for the one that you're not necessarily seeing, the Trinity. Remember, we were doing the Trinity. So make a hole in the dirt large enough for the doll, like this. Stick the doll in that dirt. And then you would say, blowing into the dirt in the name of the divinity or yourself. I empower and command thee over the seven angels, the seven stars, the seven planets, the seven winds, that thou shalt do my bidding, and I know thee will do this for me. So that's just like a dirt bathing, and also if that's what you're choosing to do with your doll, I'm just giving you, I just giving you some different alternatives to what I gave you before. And you will wrap the poppet in like something white and kind of bury it in that dirt. And over the surface, you would say, by the power of the divinity, I raise thee in the name of the seven angels. I raise thee in the name of the seven stars. I raise thee in the name of the seven planets. I raise thee in the name of the seven winds, that thou shalt do my binding. I know this will be done for thee. And at the end of that, you will lift the doll out of the dirt, and you will blow where the mouth is or would be, and say, in the name of your divinity, or in the name of yourself, or in the name of God, whomever, thou art the person's name or energy or pattern that you're speaking to, such as healing or prosperity to them or to me. I command that they are born into this world to do my bidding. That is like a dirt birthing ritual. And you repeat 3 times, as so above, so below it shall be. I know thee will do this for me. You will take 3 drops of holy water, put on the head of the doll, draw an equal armed cross in the air of the poppet, and finish it with, this work is sealed. You might want to watch this again, but that's birthing that. And I want to give you guys this too. Never give a poppet a living person's name unless you intend to use the doll within 27 days. So if you know that you're not going to use this doll, like right now, don't give it a person's name. Only if you're going to work it right now. Okay? Only if you're going to work it right now. If you're doing the work for someone else, for the doll, for someone else, um, tell that to the doll. You're going to be traveling. This is who you're going to work for, things of that nature. Um, when you are completely done, you will breathe deeply 3 times and clear your mind out. You will connect to the spirit. You will light a candle that represents that you're sending the doll back. You're no longer using it. Whatever you're going to do with it, tell the doll thank you. Bless the doll with a bit of oil or fluid, some type of water or whatever. Bless the doll, thank the doll, in the name of the divinity. Um, I command you, the puppet's name or the doll's name, to go forth and do not rest until you have done this. And now that you have done that, I command that I release you. I release you. You can put them on your altar or whatever, and you can go on. If you're working with clay, like a clay doll, um, if you're working with a clay doll, I actually did a video about a clay. But clay provides a blend of thought and action, and it helps you to easily manipulate the energy. You can use Play-Doh. You can use that little Play-Doh stuff that you get. You can listen to music. You can burn a candle or incense, and you can manipulate whatever you're wanting to put in there. If it's money, if it's prosperity, you can make it into a man. It ain't gonna never just per se get hard, but you can do work with clay. So if you don't have nothing else, you can get you clay or a roll, You can get you some clay or some type of that little Play-Doh or the little clay sticks or whatever, and you can manipulate it and draw certain images and stuff like that. And you can do the same thing. The same thing how we did. You can use that as well. Um, I've told y'all a lot. I've discussed a lot with these dolls. Um, I don't know what else. Like I said, every time that I be working with, y'all be asking questions. Um, I don't know what else. I really don't. Ooh, all right, so this concludes the doll and pop it video. Watch it again. If you have questions, please email me. Um, and I'll try to answer it in the best of my ability. Just be careful with this. Just be careful. And one thing I will give you a tip with working, do it in a 30-day increment. If you're going to use a doll or a poppet, just don't start using it. So the first 10 days, give it offerings, the next set of 10, which makes into 20, start talking to it and building. And then I will go into asking it to do stuff for me. And start with small stuff to see if this is actually working. Is the doll actually working for you? And communicate with the doll. Tell them to show you if it's not, you need to do something else so that you can get the best out of what you're wanting to do. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. I have literally gave you tips and tricks and everything else with this doll video, and I did it this way so that I could really concentrate. If you have any questions, let me know. If you don't, take your time. If you're going to choose a doll out of the store or something like that, let the doll choose you. If you're going to create or make the doll, they got so many damn stencils and stuff like that that you can go on Etsy or you can go on Google or whatever, and you can print them out. Get you some red flannel. We did talk about the colors that you can use as well to help do certain things to match it with a certain type of thread. Remember to feed, communicate, and build a relationship with this doll. It will work. It does work. And many blessings to you all. I would love for you guys to give me a review. I know this is a full hour and almost hour and a half of just doll magic. And I appreciate you guys for being patient with me. And good luck to you. And I would love to see if you make your dollies and you do some doll magic. Ashe. Oh, give me a review. Tell me what you thought about my doll video. Especially for those, this is the second time you're taking it.